Genix, you going off, going off, going off, going off,
Hello, kings and queens, and welcome to the Qween of Hearts Podcast. We're fixing the blunt, have a little hole in her. There we go. I am your host, Qween Leo. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. If you are new, welcome to the kingdom and welcome to the Qween of Hearts. Um, this week's gonna be a little fun of an episode. Let me unclip. We are going to dive into the first edition of my TV chop up. Here at Qween Leo, well, here with Qween, I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of TV. I binge watch so much TV. It's not even funny. Um, Currently, I'm not in the middle of anything. I just actually finished the game, and that's what we are discussing today. So I have been on my old school, like throwback TV show thing. A couple months ago, I was into this total binge watch of Girlfriends. I recently just finished Insecure, and then I finally just dove back into the game. Um, they just came out with a new show on Netflix. Let me look it up. I think it's like Love Yours, Forever Yours, Forever. So it's named Forever. It's a love story rom com or just a romantic drama, romedy. Um, and the creator of Forever on Netflix is the person who created the game, created Girlfriends, created all my little, guilty pleasure hits. So we're gonna go into the vault and pull out a classic today just to chop it up, talk about it, because it is such a classic show. And when I first watched the game like years ago, it was good. The storyline was great, but I think I was too young for the depth of the show, in my opinion. Watching it again now at my big old age and like really like seeing the storylines, the character development, like the plot twists of it all. The game is pretty fucking good. Pretty much on the show, it comes from Girlfriends. So if you've watched Girlfriends, the main character on Girlfriends is Joan Clayton. Um, this is a spinoff of Girlfriends, and it's based like the main character of the game is Melanie Barnett. Melanie Barnett, well, I guess you can call her the main character, but it's six of them, but her story is, I guess, the most prominent one in the beginning. But she's Joan Clayton's cousin, so it's kind of like our intro into another part of Joan's life, which is the game. And it pretty much just follows her cousin Melanie Barnett, who is a medical student, and her boyfriend Derwin Davis. Melanie gets accepted to John Hopkins, the illustrious medical school, but she turns it down to in the end follow her boyfriend to San Diego for him to play for the Sabres. And it pretty much just takes you through their life of, entering the game, being a wag, a wife, or a girlfriend of a football player or just a ball player in general. So it's kind of like the storyline of that, but from different aspects. So you have starting off, we have Melanie Barnett and her, like I said, her boyfriend, Derwin Davis, which is like the rookie love, the new love. Then we have our next couple, which is Kelly and Jason Pitts. Jason being the veteran wide receiver, and Kelly kind of being like, I don't want to say house mom, but like Queen Bee um, of her little life. Like her husband is the captain of the fucking football team in San Diego. So she is a football captain's wife. So she has her relationships. And then we have, last but not least, Tasha and Malik. Tasha and Malik is a different case because they're actually not dating. Tasha and Malik are mom and dad. And Malik is the $40 million kid, star quarterback of the San Diego Sabres. And his mom, Tasha Mack, is his manager as well as his roommate. So, season one kind of gives you an intro into the show. It kind of gives you a viewpoint from each relationship, each family, and kind of just gives you that intro of what the game is all about. So, As always, grab your party favors. Today I am drinking tequila and white cranberry juice. Is one of my new little things. I've been really in like a white cranberry juice kick, and then I love tequila, so I kind of like put them together. Um, Interesting thing I noticed: if you mix just enough tequila with just enough white cranberry juice, it'll taste like gin. Um, I had took a sip of it earlier. And when I sipped it, I said, "Am I drinking gin or tequila?" But it's just it gives you like a light gin taste, like that sting. I guess it's like the cranberry and the tequila coming together, but it's actually quite smooth. It just is a little strong, I guess. But yes, guys, get comfortable, get ready. We're gonna dive into our first edition of the TV Chop Shop, where we are gonna get into the game and break down the tea. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, so we're back. First off, guys, I want to start off with the, I won't say the head of it all, but I guess like the goals. When you look at savers, you look at relationships. We're gonna get started with the All American couple football goals, and that's gonna be the Pitts, Jason and Kelly. And they, from first glance, they seem like a pretty good, solid couple. This woman supporting her man as he leads this team to victory. But as we get deeper into the season, we kind of understand really the depths and the real issues and the details and the intricacies of their marriage and everything that is included. When we first meet Kelly Pitts, she is this bougie, uppity, head of the sunbeams, woman. And Melanie is feeling very, what's the word? I don't want to say threatened, but uncomfortable just in the situation. Like, she's a girlfriend. Some of these people are been or wives that have been in the situation for years, girlfriends that have been around for a long time. So she's just, some newly girlfriend of this third string quarterback, wide receiver. And so she just kind of feels out of place. And Kelly kind of in the beginning doesn't help. Kelly kind of throws around that she's, the it girl. She's the head of the sunbeams, and she's what all the women they aspire to be when it comes to their relationship. But behind closed doors, we discover so much more with her husband. So Jason Pitts, he's a team captain, head of the Sabres. Like, he is that guy. Everyone looks to him as a leader. As we see in the season, he kind of helps them through the training camp. He's helping the coaches lead these men and teach these men. So we kind of get an idea of who Jason is. He's strong, he's a leader, he's someone people look to be successful, to always have their shit together, to just be that golden standard. And that's not a pun, because he was a light skinned guy. It's just, but yeah, they look to him to be the golden standard of a ball player. But behind closed doors, Jason is cheap as fuck, frugal as hell, and just a manipulator. As we watch episode upon episode, we watch Kelly kind of struggle with the pressure of being Mrs. Jason Pitts and what comes with it. He's very demanding, he's very controlling, and he expects things a certain type of way. And he expects no problems, no backsass, no issues, just whatever he said, how he said it, because he's the breadwinner, because he's the head of the household. And we kind of see why over time it kind of drives a rift in between them, because Kelly can't find her voice. Kelly can't find who she is. She can't express it. And it's like a constant power struggle that we see in their relationship that slowly, we watch it deteriorate as the power struggle continues. Um, in one episode in season one, it is their daughter Brittany's birthday coming up. And, Kelly wants to throw this big illustrious party because, they are rich people. They live in a rich neighborhood. They have rich friends. So it's like she's going to expect a nice ass party. And so Jason's trying to throw cheap, $500 party, but it's like all these kids are expecting like $1,000 parties. So it's like his inability to budge on it in the beginning causes such a rift in their relationship, because it causes Kelly to have to step up sometimes and be the bad guy. And it's like when we watch how he allows Kelly to take the responsibility, take the fall, take the brunt of disappointing their daughter, and just, eats it, we see truly how he feels about Kelly. And truly, when it comes to him and her, he's going to always pick himself. And I feel like that was, strike one. If you're watching, it was probably like multiple red flags, but that was really like one definitive moment where we kind of saw where it's like, this relationship ain't that good. It ain't all that it's caked up to be. And then right around mid-season, we kind of finally see Kelly break. Um, Sabres playing really good this season. They make it to the playoffs. Um, in one particular episode, Jason's parents are coming into town. Now, Jason's parents, his dad used to also play football. I can't quite remember if it was for the Sabres too, but he did play. But so we kind of see that dynamic between him and his father, where it's almost like a dick swinging competition. Like, you're my father, you play football, you got all these accolades, and now as your son, I have to follow in your footsteps. But in the same breath, his dad went broke. So we learned that Jason, in an attempt to not be like his father, has become a very frugal person. So we kind of understand the method behind his madness there. But before his parents even come into town, we watch as Jason pretty much has Kelly running around like a chicken with her head cut off, pretty much trying to accommodate his parents. He didn't want them to stay in a hotel, which would have clearly been the easier option. Um, he decides, oh, they can stay in the house. But he doesn't like his parents that much to have them in such close quarters. So instead of having them sleeping in the guest room near his room, he has them sleep in the guest room down the hall. Now, the thing about this room down the hall, it's their storage room. It has all the extra gadgets and gadgets for their house. And so Kelly spends her pretty much her week leading up to the playoffs. She spends her week cleaning out this room, and not only cleaning it out, because it's like, when you're doing stuff for the in-laws, you have to come right. You have to come you have to come trim if you're going to do something for the in-laws. So not only does she set up the room for them, but as she's clearing out all the stuff to set up the rooms and the bed and everything, she sees all this stuff on the wall from where Brittany had wrote all over the wall as a toddler. So now, not only does she have to clean up this whole room, but now she has to paint the whole room for his parents. So we watch her pretty much spend her week painting, organizing, making this room into a whole guest suite pretty much for his parents, and it drains her, and we watch how it literally drains her to be the superwoman for this man. And it's not even like being the superwoman for a man that's like helping you. Like, I get it, he plays football and he's the breadwinner, but I feel like when it comes to his parents, that Jason should help her. Jason should assist her in certain things. Like, I'm watching the episode while, like I said, she's getting this room together. Why are you doing all this stuff? Like, all this does not need to be necessary. Once it said, oh, we need to paint, he should have chipped in and got a painter. And in the episode, it's crazy because that's pretty much what Jason's dad ends up telling him. He warns him when they first get there, like, you need to take care of Kelly because you're running her in the ground, you're running her rampant, and you need to tend to your wife. And he's like, you see, I never have your mom doing these things. And it's like, that's the truth. Like I'm watching her. Like, you're painting the room. Yeah, didn't have to he didn't have to help you because, like we said, he's the breadwinner. But being the breadwinner, being such a vet in the game with all this money you're saving, you could dish out for someone to paint that one little room. That's why I was gagged, because it's like, dude, you could pay some movers, you could pay somebody to handle this one little situation. I know you wanted to save some money, but hey, and it's certain that's being a man who cares about his wife and being considerate of her. Like, I'm not going to run her dry. I'm going to help her. I'm going to assist her how I can. If I don't have the time, I probably don't have the time because I'm making so much money. And if that's the case, I got the money to help you. So it was just watching Jason just really like let her battle that by herself. And in the end, like, she has a breakdown because, like I said, she spent the whole week in the room together. So not only, like we said, not only are you sitting here being all these things, wife, uh, daughter-in-law, mother, yourself, at the end of the day, you still have to, all these roles, be his partner. So it's like he wakes up that weekend for the playoffs Where's my milk or my protein shake? Where's this? I need this. Then it was he wanted her to curl her hair for the game. He was like, the curls are my good luck. Like, I need the curls. And so she's like trying to iron. She's trying to do all this stuff, and she just loses it, and she has a panic attack, an anxiety attack, and she gets hospitalized. Spoiler alert. And so Jason has to skip the game to go tend to her. And I feel like that was a pivotal moment, because it was, do you stay in the game, or do you go tend to your wife? And I think he had that wake up call, like, I have to go to my wife. Because even like the coach didn't want him to leave. The coach was like, you're waiting till later, right? And he's like, no, that's my wife. I have to go now. So we see that dynamic of their relationship, and it's like, yes, he treats her this way and stuff, but he does like start to realize, oh, I'm dogging her, or oh, I'm mistreating her. And I really think it was the wake up call from his dad, and then her going to the hospital kind of changed his pivot. But then we see, after that episode, we kind of see him trying to really work on his relationship. Like, he's more, helpful, he's more caring, he's more considerate of Kelly, and it's great start. It's a very great start, until I think the next time he like gets into one of his moments, he didn't make the all-star team. And that was another moment where he just went back and took back control, and he was being real frugal, being real mean, and controlling Kelly again. And it kind of, I want to say, like, all these moments kind of are like little notches, and we watch, like, even as you watch it, you kind of see how Kelly, like, the innocence leaves her. Like, I was talking about it in another episode, the innocence of a woman, and being with a man and just being that woman for him. And as shit happens, you lose that innocence and you turn cold. And we watch, like, starting in season 1 all the way till they divorce, I think in season 3 or 4, we see like the innocence leave her eyes. We see the peppy Kelly go away, and we see this person who just feels trapped and unheard. Um, and as she feels unheard, we also see her slip into like alcoholism. And I wouldn't say she's an alcoholic. Maybe. I don't know. She drinks a lot of wine. Maybe a wino. Because you never see them drinking the hard shit. It's always like wine, 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 wine. So she's just a wino. But that's like the housewife aesthetic, their wine, staying at home with the girls. So, I feel like it was just her like dealing with the life. It comes with the life that she has. And we see her slowly throughout the season, like, feel her silence and feel how it traps her. And I think Jason then decides he wants to give her a baby. So then they're talking about kids, but then, and this is weird. This was weird. And I kind of want to go back and rewatch it, because it was such like a interesting thing. So Kelly and Jason, going through their shit, they're trying to get better. He realizes he's a dick. He tells her, okay, you know what? I'm fucking up again. Um, Baby. And I think it was like, okay, I didn't make the playoffs, I didn't make the all-star game. He wanted something to grasp on, some type of accomplishment. So it's, oh, we want to have a baby, let's have a baby. Boom. um and that moment, while that's going on, Tasha is starting up Tasha Mac management, and we're gonna get into Tasha too later. But Tasha, like, pretty much offers her a job to work for her as her assistant. But it's at the time she's trying to have a baby with Jason. So it kind of makes her choose like her identity or her family. And in the end, she chooses her identity. But it makes me wonder, like, what was Tasha's motive? Because one thing we see about Kelly throughout the episode, she's for her family. She's for Jason. She's for Brittany. She's for their union. She's for their legacy. So it's like, for her to sit there in that defining moment and choose herself, like, that's what everybody wanted. That's what the audience wants, is for you to choose yourself. But it was just the weirdest timing. So it kind of makes you question, like, how does Tasha really see their marriage? And how does she really see relationships around her? Um, Ending off the season with Kelly and Jason, they pretty much go through their trials and tribulations of the season. Jason being mean and controlling, Kelly being suffocated and weak-minded when it comes to him. And we see how it's addressed, all the trials and tribulations. And in the end of the season, we find them really trying to take the right step in the right direction for their marriage. They're working on their family. Kelly is working on her identity, working with Tasha. And Jason is really just settling into, okay, I'm a vet. I know I'm up on my last couple years. I think in the last episode for the season finale, he's at the All-Star game as a commentator. And I feel like that was just like a power move to have something in place for when, football is out of the question. He has another career to go into. But that's how they end off the season. No drama, no true like issues between them. Um, but their relationship is just, I don't know. It's one you root for because you see when it's good, it's good. But as it goes and you see those bad moments, it's like, oh Kelly, no. Oh Kelly, no, you deserve better. So, mm, it's an okay dynamic. I want Jason to be better. You spend the whole season wanting Jason to be better, Just buy her a diamond ring once or twice. But it's an interesting relationship to see play out. It's the the American dream, like I said. It's the veteran football player and the trophy wife. Like, are they good? Are they happy? So to watch that relationship kind of pan out is very interesting to see. The next I guess storyline they have on this season is, and I kind of see it as like the main or the main storyline. It is Derwin and Melanie. Um, and it's funny because now that I sit here and I actually do the chop up and think about these episodes, it's to the show the premise of the show is to show you the different stages of this life, the game. And it's like they give you the where you're at when you're a veteran and you're in this league and everything's old to you at this point. Like, you've been there, done that. Like, so it's like you're not worried about all the stuff, all the women, all the stuff that comes with the game because you've lived it already. So you have that in Jason, and then they take you all the way to the beginning of the spectrum when you're a rookie, which is the main character, which is Derwin. And Derwin and Melanie, they met in college. He was a football player. She was a medical student. She gets into John Hopkins Medical School. She ends up turning it down so that she can follow him to San Diego. Now, Melanie, like I said, she's Joan Clayton's cousin. If you know anything about Joan Clayton from Girlfriends, Joan Clayton is very situated. Went to law school, parents Black Panthers, like a real situated woman. So we would expect nothing less from Melanie Barnett. Um, so Melanie comes from a well-off family. I can't understand the correlation. If I had to like pay attention, they say it at one point. If I had to think, I want to say I think it's Joan's mom and Melanie's dad, or Joan's mom and Melanie's mom, but it's Joan's mom's side of the family. And so pretty much they're situated, they're well off. And Melanie's dad's a doctor. Melanie's mom is the housewife. And they wanted her to go John Hopkins, like her dad, follow his footsteps, become a doctor. But she had other plans. She fell in love with Derwin and she wanted to be with him. So she turns it down and ends up going to school in San Diego with Derwin, living her life and following her dreams. Now, one thing I like about their storyline, I love the young love aspect. Like, the fact that they met and decided to do life together and decided to take this journey. I love it. And then to decide to stick with each other through the good and the bad. And we watch them, like, moments come that challenge their relationship and challenge their trust in each other. And in the beginning, they're knocking through it, flying colors. For one, when we come into their storyline, Melanie is dealing with Derwin and Dion. Dion is Derwin's image consultant, and she reminds me of the chick with the braids off Baby Boy at Yvette's job that was trying to fuck on Jody. Why was she trying to fuck on Jody and Jody wasn't about shit? That was the first intro to a hating ass bitch, because you wasn't even trying to fuck a nigga that had motion. Like Jody really didn't have motion. Like, but that's another. We're going into a whole nother episode. Do I need to watch Bad Boys or Bad Baby Boy and do a review? Yes, but from what I remember and off the strength and the muscle, Jody did not have motion. So why was she trying to take somebody's nigga if the nigga didn't have motion? I understand bitches getting out of pocket and getting out of their body about a nigga that's out here like a 10 of 10. You know what I mean? Jody wasn't eating bout shit, and old girl wanted him, and that's the vibe I get from Dion. Like Dion know Derwin's with Melanie. Dion know what time it is, and she still be flirting with Derwin on the sly, and it irks me, you know, because it's like some women. I guess some women be liking to break up happy homes. I just don't understand it because it's like you know that man with her, and you know they happy and whatever, whatever. So why you be flirting with him? But that I don't get about women in general, and that's what I had to ask my homegirl at work one day. I said, "Do bitches post shit on social media just to be petty? Like, do women have that? Because I don't fuck with women like that. Like, I don't have a lot of female friends. Like, I really don't like women like that. Because growing up at a young age to where I'm at now, I've grown to understand women catty as fuck. Women do catty ass shit. Women do weird ass shit. Women are weird. Women are so weird, and it's funny because I was just having this talk with my dude about women and men and how they act and how they are, and that's it. Like women are weird. Like it's certain shit that just can't go on with men that happens with women, and it's just because women are weird, and it's like so for me, I had to ask her like, do women just do weird shit to be petty? Like, do women really move like that? And it was funny to me because as I was talking to my dude the other day about it, he said it to me. He's like, "You think like a nigga," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do think like a nigga. I've heard that before. I think like a nigga because there's just certain shit I'm just not gonna do, and there's just certain shit I move a certain type of way. So it's like I don't know about women being petty on social media because I've never been that type. You know, I've always been the type if I like it, when I read it, like I'm big on if the shoe fits wear. So I'll read a lot of shit and if the shoe be fitting my foot, so I'm motherfucking wear it. You know? But some women just do petty shit out of petty just to be petty. And I got that vibe from Dion, like you just be doing too much. Like just stick to business. And I didn't like how Melanie just couldn't stand up for herself. Like, girl, stand on business about your man. Like, don't let her come up in your house and be trying you. And that be the thing. She'll say slick shit and do slick shit, knowing that she's crossing lines, knowing that she's stepping over boundaries. And that's why I just like I couldn't fuck with her because my biggest thing is if I see a nigga, and let's say I'm interested in a nigga, and he tell me, "Oh, I got a situation," or he tell me, "Oh, I'm with someone," and I can see that, like I can see it. Why? I'm just not the type to be in a person's face. I just can't do it. So I understand why people do that. That's why I was like, I never fucked with Dion's character the whole fucking series. And they brought her back later down the line. Still didn't fuck with her. But yes, we see their loyalty really get put to the test when Dion's around. Um, but like I said, those are the moments with Derwin where he kind of reassures her and lets her know like that's the woman he wants to be with. That's the woman of his dreams. And so it's like she shouldn't be worried about Dion because to him all he sees is Melanie. Um, we do have a moment in this season where Melanie has a little indiscretion on her end. Um, from college, she has a friend, Trey Wiggs. If you watch the game, you know motherfucking Trey Wiggs. Trey Wiggs is Trey Wiggs. And it's just a dude from her past, another football player for a different team, went to college with Derwin and Melanie, and Melanie was his tutor. And when you watch their dynamic, you can clearly see Trey wants Melanie. Trey wants to marry Melanie. Trey, like, Melanie's it for him. That's his it girl. And Derwin doesn't like this. Derwin doesn't like Melanie fucking with him. But he comes in town. I think he's in, like, I think they play the Sabres. So he comes in town and he wants to meet up with them. Now, men being men, I think Derwin knows this because men just know men. Like I said, even my dude, I tell him about people at my job, and he tells me all the time, well, you know they're flirting with you, or you know they want to fuck you, and it's like he knows because he's a man, so he knows like men do this because this is what they expect from it. So Derwin in his mind already know like how Trey moving, and he's like, I know Trey wants you, Melanie. Like I don't want him around. She does have a moment. She fuck around go out to eat with the man after they had this whole agreement. And it gets snapped by the paparazzi. And I feel like that was Melanie really like forgetting who she was for a second and forgetting who he was. Like, we people now. Like, I can't just be out and about with y'all all, regular, degular, schmegular, because we're not regular, degular, schmegular. And I think that's one thing we see with Melanie throughout the series. It's her adapting to the fact that she's no longer normal. Her adapting to the fact that she is with a ball player and this is the life that comes with it. And we kind of see how it changes her. And we really do see Melanie lose her innocence throughout the series from that very season 1, to when they think they don't come back till season 9. But yeah, we see how it changes her all throughout, because like I said, season 1, she thinks she can go eat regular lunch with first round draft picks. You can't. And not only first round draft picks, but first round draft picks that are your boyfriend's rival, so that makes even more of a headline. So it's just she's not used to where she's at yet, and we kind of see her grow into her spot, grow into herself, grow into her identity. Now, going off of our initial discussion with Jason leaves the playoff game to go tend to Kelly in the hospital when she has her anxiety attack. When he leaves said playoff game, someone has to take his spot. And in this time, we see third string wide receiver Derwin Davis step to the plate and begin to make a name for himself. By the time season 1 ends, Derwin is evolving from, like I said, third string wide receiver to a new fresh face to see out there on the field. And every time he gets that chance to get out there and play, he leaves it all on the field to leave an impression for it to be something to happen later. And we see how gradually he becomes a star in his own right. Now, with becoming a star, you find yourself in tricky situations. So, dealing around roundabout with Malik, he stumbles upon Drew Sidora. He does Drew Sidora's music video, and that starts, well, really, even I think, was it before? No, it's the music video. He does the music video, and from the moment he does the music video, we start to see Derwin go into a different life, a different mindset, and a different season in himself. No pun intended, because we're talking about football. But he goes into a new season within himself, and he starts to taste fame. He starts to feel himself. He starts to get this ego because he is somebody now. Like, he's no longer, third string. He's Derwin. He's Ding Dong. So he starts to taste fame, and it gets to him, and he starts doing out of pocket shit like cheat on Melanie with Drew Sidora. And it's not just cheating like having sex. No, they had a relationship. They were texting, they were doing a bunch of shit. He was lying about it, sneaking around, going to see her, and he was just withholding a lot of information from Melanie. And with all these things lading up, like, you were having an affair. Fuck cheating. That's an affair, which is insane. Melanie starts to kind of get a whiff of it, but Derwin lies his way right out of it. Um, he withheld from Drew at the same time that he was dating Melanie. So we do see him and Drew fall out simply because he played both sides. And that's how you know he really didn't love Drew Sidora. He enjoyed her company. She was there when Melanie wasn't, and she understood the life. And in the time he was at, where he was growing this fame and he's growing this stardom, Melanie is still, like I said, she has her identity and she's not going to lose it. So she's what? Med school. She's in school. She's studying. She's this, she's that. And she cannot be there for him as he takes on his career, his life, his path. And I feel like that really then um it draws a line, and it draws a lot of turmoil into their relationship, because moments are happening, big things are coming for Derwin, and he wants Melanie there. He wants his companion. Um, like I told him, I was telling somebody the other night. I told him, I said, I I be having rough days, and I be wanting you there. Like, and I understand that. Like, I be wanting you there. Like, I told my dude that. Like, I have my rough days, and I just be wanting my companion. to be that shoulder to cry on, that ear to listen, and that heart to comfort me. I want my companion. I want my companion. And when Melanie's not there for Derwin, he finds himself trying to find a companion. And like I said, I understand, you know, someone, but like I said, Drew didn't know that he was with Melanie. She thought Derwin was single. So in her mind, she thought she was meeting this new guy and possibly meeting someone to date. And in his mind, she was for the moment. You know, you're here for the moment because you're present when the person I want is not. I'm a use you for your time. It was just your turn. You know what I mean? And that's how I can, like I said, that's how we know Derwin didn't really love Drew, and it was simply just off the fact that she was there, because you end up lying to both parties. So you're lying to Melanie about who Drew Sidora is truly to you, and then you lie into Drew Sidora about who you truly are. And the thing is, these two lies have to come together at some point, and you know that. You know that. But it's like the fact that you would lie to both. It ain't even like, oh, I'm keeping it real with you because I'm trying to build something. Like, no, you lying to both because it's like that's really not what you want. But you really don't want to hurt Melanie. So I'm not gonna tell Melanie, but I really don't want Drew. But I'm gonna just keep playing along with Drew because it's fun in the time of having nobody. And I've been there before. And all in all, it really casts us doubt on how to, like, his character as a person, because he does preach a lot, like he's a God-fearing man, but we see season 1 he was doing a lot of weird shit and being selfish. So you look at his personality different. But season 1 ends with Melanie, I think, popping up on Malik, popping up on Derwin. This is All-Star Weekend. She pops up on him. And in the club, Dion confronts Derwin about sleeping with Drew, and Melanie overhears. Now, like I said, Dion pisses me off. All these fucking D's in this show. But Dion pisses me off because that was another moment where it's like, bitch, what are you doing? That's not your nigga. Why are you pressed about who he's fucking and that's not your nigga? Like, that's not your nigga. Okay, he's fucking Drew. You figure that out. But why are you confronting this nigga in the club? That is not how that's like you moving weird. And I think in that scene he tells her like she's moving weird because it's like, who are you to confront me about what I'm doing? And like I said, that's Dion being fucking weird because that's not your nigga. So why are you so pressed? But that's because in the end you want him. And we see that later down the line with her and Melanie when she sleeps with someone else. But that's a spoiler alert for season 3 that you guys need to tune into first. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I just can't fuck with Dion. Because that's how Melanie finds out he slept with Drew, is through Dion. Just being weird. So season 1 ends with Melanie having the largest crash out on Derwin during All-Star Weekend in front of crowds of people, and it's hilarious because it's a hurt woman that's finna clown you because you got me fucked up. And it wasn't like, I think she does hit him, she slaps him, I want to say, but when they go outside and he's trying to plead his case, all she could do was clown him because it's like, you look like a joke out here, bro. Like, what are we doing? You out here fucking randoms. Like, what are we truly doing? And we supposed to be building something. You get lost in the you got too much dip on your chip and you get lost in the motherfucking sauce. And Melanie had to tell him, and she did. And then she proceeded to leave. It's a very hilarious episode, but the season does end with Melanie and Derwin breaking up. And like I said, their dynamic is very interesting because it's two people that truly love each other through it all. So it's interesting to see them find their way back to each other. But yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get into the final storyline on the game. Stay tuned. So, like I said, the game shows you the life of a ball player in stages. It shows you Jason, which is the vet, Derwin, the rookie, and then you have the person in the middle. We have Malik Wright, $40 million kid. Um, Coming from humble beginnings out of Richmond, Malik was raised by a single mother, Tasha, and makes his way to the league as the star quarterback of the Sabres. Um, Tasha Mack is his mother, and she is also his manager. Um, they have a crazy relationship. We are introduced to them, and we see that Malik and his mom live together in the same house. And they're cool with it. Uh, for me, it was just a little weird just because, dude, you got the money, $40 million kid, you can have your own spot. But that just shows, okay, you might not be fully mature. And he wasn't. As the season progresses, we kind of unpack Malik and Tasha somewhat and who they are. And we discover they have a very bad codependency when it comes to each other. They have to live together. Malik controls Tasha pretty much like if she's dating or things like that. And then Tasha kind of dictates what Malik does and puts it under the umbrella of I'm the parent, not knowing he's a grown ass man. So the codependency within their relationship is thick, and it takes a toll on their not only their family dynamic but their business dynamic. He's very territorial and she's controlling, and it kind of is a power struggle because when family and money is involved, which one truly is more important? um Malik has an episode where Tasha starts dating one of the coaches on the team, and Malik doesn't really like it, and he doesn't like that they're talking, and he doesn't really agree with how the coach coaches him. So when he finds out that they're talking, he then decides, oh, I'm never listening to any of my mom's advice or your advice, because he just doesn't like them dating. And he finds himself getting injured because he's just that stubborn and codependent on his parent. um Tasha finally stands up for herself, moves out of the house, gets her own place. um After one fallout with her dude, calls her son, moves right back in. So it's like it's just a codependency in their relationship that we see grow and fester throughout the years, and then it finally towards the end gets handled somewhat. Um from watching season one and seeing how Tasha treats the dude she's talking to, the coach on the team, Tasha's in survival mode. And I've been talking about survival mode a lot this month, but we see Tasha is truly in survival mode. She's very picky on who she gives her energy to. She is very self-sufficient, independent, cocky, arrogant, all these things that would push a man away. And we find her pushing away the coach on the football team. And this won't be the first, this won't be the last. But we just clearly see that within their relationship, there's a lot of toxic traits. This dynamic, this father mother, or this son mother dynamic is very toxic for both parties and for themselves as a union. So we see how it deteriorates their relationship over time. Towards the end of the season, Malik starts dating a sportscaster, and she feels some type of way about the fact that he lives at home with his mom. And so he finds himself kind of wanting to finally leave the nest and grow up, because it's like he's too old to be living with his mom. How are you going to start a life? How are you going to start a family living with your mom? He has this ladies' man persona, like he's not going to settle down, and he's just out here for a good time. But we all know at some point every man is ready to settle down. So we just kind of want to see the growth from Malik season one. We kind of want to see like him make better choices, because it's like, dude, you grown. Why are you acting like that? But hopefully it gets better as we go through the seasons. Um, One thing I can say about this season, it is refreshing to see the dynamics of the families and the friendships. Um, we see a woman relationship friendship build and grow with Melanie, Kelly, and Tasha. three women from three different aspects of life just coming together as friends, able to give each other kind advice and a shoulder to cry on. And just to see that dynamic, it is refreshing. Like I said, I love Girlfriends. I love Insecure. I love shows and TV like that really just lets a woman embrace her soft girl era with her girls. Like I said, I don't fuck with many women because women are catty as fuck. But if I did, I would hope they're like these what do I call them, refreshing friendships that you see and read about. Same thing with the guys. Everyone starts hazing Derwin because he is a rookie and that's just how the game goes. But over time, the hazing helped build really a dynamic between the guys because he's always around them. He's always doing little odd tasks for them. So in the end, he started to build like a true brotherhood with Jason and Malik. And it's refreshing to see, over time, him have those people to give him that advice and get him through this time where he's embracing being a ball player. um, so it's a good show. And season one was a great intro into what's going to be I don't want to say drama filled because it's not too much drama, but just a well written show, you know? Um, to close out today's episode, every one of these women is trying to keep their man, but at what cost? Melanie's trying to keep Derwin. Kelly's trying to keep Jason. Tasha keeps Malik on this hook. He can't get another manager. He can't have a woman that's gonna try to push her out. Like, she tries to have all this control over him, but at what cost? Like, what are these women losing as they go and navigate through this world following behind these men? Comment below. Are they losing themselves, or are they just playing the game well? Comment your opinion to that. Like, how do you think these women are so far moving in season one when it comes to the game? And what are they losing within themselves as they play the game? You guys can find seasons 1 through 3 of the game on Netflix, and then you can find 1 through I want to say 1 through 9 on Hulu. Tune in, guys. Next episode, I'm gonna do season 2, so definitely tune in, binge watch up, so we can chat about it. Comment below what was your favorite episodes of season 1, and tell me what you're excited for season 2. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of the Qween of Hearts Podcast. I am your host, Qween Leo. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good shit in the shit underneath the video. Subscribe at QweenLeo.shop. When you go to QweenLeo.shop, you scroll at the bottom. It's going to have all of my social media platforms: Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. I probably got it for the brand. So tap in, follow in, and stay updated. Until next time, guys, I will see you soon. Deuces.
Genix, you going off, going off, going off, going off.